أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا إنا سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا إن ناشئة الليل هي أشد وطئا وأقوم قيلا إن لك في النهار سبحا طويلا واذكر اسم ربك وتبتل إليه تبتيلا رب المشرق والمغرب لا إله إلا هو فاتخذه وكيلا واصبر على ما يقولون واهجرهم هجرا جميلا وذرني والمكذبين أولي النعمة ومهلهم قليلا إن لدينا أنكالا وجحيما وطعاما ذا غصة وعذابا أليما يوم ترجف الأرض والجبال وكانت الجبال كثيبا مهيلا إنا أرسلنا إليكم رسولا شاهدا عليكم كما أرسلنا إلى فرعون رسولا فعصى فرعون الرسول فأخذناه أخذا وبيلا فكيف تتقون إن كفرتم يوما يجعل الولدان شيبا السماء منفطر به كان وعده مفعولا إن هذه تذكرة فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا إن ربك يعلم أنك تقوم أدنى من ثلثي الليل ونصفه وثلثه وطائفة من الذين معك والله يقدر الليل والنهار علم أن لن تحصوه فتاب عليكم فاقرؤوا ما تيسر من القرآن علم أن سيكون منكم مرضى وآخرون يضربون في الأرض يبتغون من فضل الله وآخرون يقاتلون في سبيل الله فاقرؤوا ما تيسر منه وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا وما تقدموا لأنفسكم من خير تجدوه عند الله هو خيرا وأعظم أجرا واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم.
Setting dua also. Shaykh.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن علي ولي الله أشهد أن علي حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله أكبر. سبحان رب العظيم وبحمد رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان رب العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أشهد أن مولانا أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان رب العظيم وبحمد رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا زيارة الحسين. اللهم ارزقنا شفاعة الحسين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان رب العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم، أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه علي، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت في ليلة القدر وجعلت خير من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكك ركبتي من النار في من تمن عليه، وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وافترضت على عبادك فيه الصيام، صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في عامي هذا وفي كل عام، واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام فإنه لا يغفرها غيرك يا رحمن يا علام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم أدخل على أهل القبور السرور. اللهم أغني كل فقير. اللهم أشبع كل جائع. اللهم اكسو كل عريان. اللهم اجز دين كل مدين. اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب. اللهم رد كل غريب. اللهم فك كل أسير. اللهم أصلح كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين. اللهم اشف كل مريض. اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك. اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك. اللهم اجزي عنا الدين واغننا من الفقر إنك على كل شيء قدير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك، وأنت مسدد للثواب بمنك، وأوكنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقمة، وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك، فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، وأجب يا رحيم دعوتي، وكل يا غفور أسرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وأسرة قد أكلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وهلكة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مزاد له في ملكي، ولا منازع له في أمري. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقي، ولا شبيه له في عظمتي. الحمد لله الفاش في الخلق أمره وحمده الظاهر بالكرم مجد الباسط بالجود يدا الذي لا تنكس خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير مع حاجة بي إليه عظيما وغناك عنه قديم وهو عندي كثير وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي وصفك عن ظلمي وسترك على قبيح عملي وحلمك عن كثير جرمي عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك الذي رزقتني من رحمتك وأريتني من قدرتك وعرفتني من إجابتك فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستأنسا لا خائفا ولا وجلا مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك فإن أبت عني أتبت بجهلي عليك ولعل الذي أبت عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك علي يا ربي إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك كأن لي التطول عليك فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إلي وتفضلي علي بجودك وكرمك فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الأصباح ديان دين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادل ولا شبيه يشاكل ولا زهير يعازد قهر بعزته العزة وتواضع لعظمته العظمى فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا عاصي ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي فكم من موهبة هنية قد أعطاني وعزيمة مخوفة قد كفاني وبهجة مونكة قد أراني فأثني عليه حامدا واذكره مسبها. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجاب ولا يغلق باب ولا يرد السائل ولا يخيب عامل. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويزع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موزي حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وأمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على صديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على سبتي الرحمة وإمام الهدى الحسن والحسين سيد شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي حججك على عبادك ومنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بالروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذي من قبله. مكن له دينه الذي ارتزيته له عبده من بعد خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وعزز به وانصره وانتصر به وانصره نصرا عزيزا وافتح له فتحا يسيرا واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من خلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا وما كسرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شأتنا واشرب به صدعنا وارتق به فتقنا وكثر به قلتنا وعزز به ذلتنا واغن به عائلنا واجز به مغرمنا واجبر به فقرنا وسد به خلتنا ويسر به يسرنا وبيز به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وانجب به طلبتنا وانجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا وآتنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة أعمالنا وآتنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع الموتين اشف به صدورنا وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا واهدنا لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا وصلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا فصل على محمد وآل محمد وإنا على ذلك بفتح منك تؤجل وبزر تكشف ونصر تعز وسلطان حق تظهر ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فادخلنا وفي إليين فارفعنا وبقاسم معين من عين سلسبيل الفسكنا ومن الهور الإين برحمتك فزوجنا ومن الولدان المخلدين كأنهم لؤلؤ مكنون فأقدمنا ومن ثمار الجنة ولحوم الطير فأطعمنا وثياب السندوس والحرير والاستبرق فالبسنا وليلة القدر وحج بيتك الحرام وقتلا في سبيلك فوفق لنا وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فارحمنا وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا وفي جهنم فلا تغلنا وفي عذابك وحوانك فلا تبتلنا ومن الزقوم والذريع فلا تطعمنا ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكببنا ومن ثياب النار وسرابيل القطران فلا تلبسنا ومن كل سوء يا لا إله إلا أنت بحق لا إله إلا أنت فنجنا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر ومن الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم المشكور سعيهم المغفور ذنوبهم المكفر عن سيئاتهم وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري في خير وعافية وتوسع في رزقي وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل بغيري أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان أو يطلع الفجر من ليلة هذه ولك قبل طبيعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه اللهم صل على محمد Surah Al-Fatiha.
Sheikh Abbas Ismail, respected elders, brothers and sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Al-Fatiha is requested for all marhumin listed on the screen as well as all other marhumin. Surah Al-Fatiha. Dua Shafa'i Mariz is requested for all those in need here and elsewhere, as well as those listed on the screen. Let us recite together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul mustarri iza da'ahu yakshifu su. Amma yujibul mustarri iza da'ahu yakshifu su. Amma yujibul mustarri Amma yujibul mustarri iza da'ahu yakshifu su. Amma yujibul mustarri iza da'ahu yakshifu su. I would now like to call upon Sheikh Abbas Ismail to come forward to recite tonight's Majlis. Bar Muhammad and wa ali Muhammad Salawat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Khatamin nabiyyin. Shafi'il mudhnibeen. Rahmatan lil alameen. Maulana wa sayyidina Abil Qasim Muhammad. وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرض أرواحنا له الفداء وعجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد. Respected elders, brothers, sisters, tonight is our final lecture on this mini-series regarding death and the grave and barzakh and the hereafter. And yesterday, I intentionally stopped at a point so that today we can have a fresh discussion on something very, very important indeed. The issue of shafa'at. Okay? Shafa'at is one of those things where I feel probably it hasn't been explained properly, or we don't have a clear view about it, and because of our lack of understanding of this issue, other people have pounced on this issue and they've made a big deal out of it, and they've somehow put it into some people's heads that there is no such thing as shafa'at, or it's something else, or it's not what you think. So tonight, inshallah, I want to spend the first part of the lecture clarifying that what do we mean by shafa'at? For example, we hear that there will be shafa'at on the Day of Judgment by the Holy Prophet. Shafa'at will be done by Bibi Fatima. Shafa'at will be done by our Imams. Imam Husseini will come and do shafa'at. Hazrat Abbas will come and do. What does this mean? Shafa'at has been maybe given in a way, and I'm not blaming anyone here because everyone does their best. And, they give us examples, but sometimes these examples, they leave us with more questions. So sometimes shafa'at has been presented, I like to call this form of shafa'at like the bad parent shafa'at. Okay? So what happens is, for example, You have a child, okay, and you have a father and a mother. Now the father is usually, he's presented as the aggressive one, the strict one, and the father says, no, you can't have this, or you can't do this. So the father goes away, and then the mother goes to the child, and she, comforts the child, and she says, don't worry, I'll put in a good word for you with your father, and I'll make it okay. So in this example, it's as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, na'udhu billah, this is just an example. Allah is like the strict father who says no to everything. And the Imams alayhimus salam, they're like the mother, and they come and they're somehow even more kinder than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're kind of more merciful than God himself. And they take us aside and they say, don't worry beta, everything will be fine. And then somehow they put in a good word with God for us and everything is fine. Sometimes it's given as I call administrative shafa'at. Administrative shafa'at is like, what? I want to get to the Prime Minister, but I can't reach the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is too busy. He won't pay attention to someone like me. So I have to go through the admin processes, right? So first of all, I have to approach the secretary. The secretary approaches the junior minister. The junior minister approaches the senior minister. The senior minister approaches the Prime Minister. And then my work gets done. So it's as if Allah is like the Prime Minister in this example. It's just an example. He's like the Prime Minister. And he's too busy and he doesn't have time and he doesn't have attention towards us. So we have to go through all these different administrative hurdles to get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes it's given what I call emotional shafa'at. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is somehow, na'udhu billah, na'udhu billah, na'udhu billah. Please take this in the spirit that I'm saying. It's just an example. It's as if he's like, in a bad mood. He's grumpy. And we have to tell the Imams, can you please tell Allah for us? And then they have to go to Allah and they have to emotionally blackmail Allah. And they have to tell him all these things that, please, can you not give this person? And he's a good person and really we vouch for him and this and that. Now, are these accurate? Is this the way we understand God? Is this the way we understand shafa'at? Is this the way we understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The most merciful, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, Rahman and Rahim. The most forgiving, the most kind, the most merciful, the utmost in every good aspect is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do we really understand shafa'at like this? Is this the way shafa'at is? So today, I want to dispel all of these three different versions of shafa'at. And there probably are more. There probably are more that you've heard. But I want to dispel them all. Number one, on the issue of the bad parent, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is kinder than everything you can think of. He's more merciful than the Holy Prophet. He's more merciful than Ayyimah alayhimus salam, if you want to look at it in that respect. There is no bad parenting here. There is no that he has to be convinced and the mother has to come along and do some kind of intercession with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no administrative shafa'at as if he's such a busy person. No, Allah does not get busy. Allah has time for everybody, unlimited time. He's not bound by time at all. It's not that he won't look at us because we are too far from here or anything like that. Number three, nor is it emotional. He's not an emotional being. He doesn't have hormones. He doesn't have feelings as such. So there's no emotional convincing that you have to do with Allah. So then what is this shafa'at and how do we explain it? This is our first topic of this evening with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So for those people whose journey is difficult, which will be many people in the hereafter, shafa'at is necessary. Without shafa'at, they wouldn't get to where they need to go. Without shafa'at, they'd probably end up in hell, but because of shafa'at, they end up in heaven. Shafa'at, shafa'a, is the root word of shafa'at. Shafa'a means to pair something with something else, to pair them together. In this context, what we are discussing in the hereafter, it is to gain assistance from the Ma'asumeen, from the Holy Prophet, from Janabi Fatima, from Amirul Mu'mineen, from the Imams, to reach one's goal, without which it will not be possible to reach one's goal. The thing with shafa'at is, number one, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum, la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm, lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard, man dhal ladhi yashfa'u indahu. Ayat al-Kursi. Allah says himself, Allah, there is no God but Him, until we come to the point where we say, مَنْ يَشْفَعُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. There is no one that will intercede with Allah except when He gives permission for it to be done. So brothers, sisters, the first point of shafa'at is Allah makes it happen. It is not Rasulullah independently of Allah. It is not Rasulullah being the better parent here. It is not Rasulullah being the junior minister. It is not Rasulullah being anything else. Allah tells the Holy Prophet, go and do shafa'at. It is not like the Holy Prophet and Amirul Mu'mineen are more merciful than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No. Illa bi'idhni. So the first point is, Allah sets up this whole system. Allah directs it. Allah commands it. Allah tells Rasulullah. Allah tells Amirul Mu'mineen, go and do shafa'at. This whole thing was set up by Allah in the first place. It is nothing more than the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the first point. Number two, you have to qualify for shafa'at. There are rules, there are regulations, there is a system, there's an administration, there's a whole way of getting qualified for shafa'at. You have to qualify for shafa'at in the first place. It's not just handed out any old way. It's not like Amirul Mu'mineen says, okay, I like this person, so I will do his shafa'at. I don't like this person, so I won't do his shafa'at. It's not like that at all. You have to qualify for shafa'at. Now, what did we say shafa'at's meaning was? To pair one thing with another thing. The question you have to ask yourselves, are you paired properly with Amir al-Mu'mineen? Would Amir al-Mu'mineen really say that this person is mine? Would Amir al-Mu'mineen really say that this person is paired with me? Would Janab Fatima say that, yes, I agree that this person is paired with me, therefore I will do his or her shafa'at? Will Imam Hussein alayhi salam come along and say that this person is paired with me? How do we get paired with the Aimma alayhimus salam? Belief, love, action. If my actions are totally different to the actions of my Aimma alayhimus salam, is that a pairing? Is that a pairing? Could it be paired? Could I be paired with them? Could I be joined with them in shafa'at? So here, in shafa'at, the first thing to bear in mind is, it's done with the permission of Allah. Number two, it's done with the direction of Allah. Number three, it's done if you qualify for it. And inshallah, we believe if we have led fairly good lives, we are qualifying for it. We believe in them, we love them, inshallah, we are trying our best to follow them as much as we can. Therefore, we qualify for shafa'at. Now we flip it the other way. Shafa'at. In this world, is there shafa'at or is it only in the hereafter? What do you think? Yes or no? In this world, is there shafa'at? Yes. What is the evidence of this? First of all, why did Allah not just throw down from heaven 1 billion books of the Quran? Let them all fall to the ground and we'll pick them up and we'll start reading it. Secondly, more than that, why didn't He just reveal the Quran to everybody? He should have revealed it to everybody. No, you need to be qualified in that sense to receive the communications from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this world there's already shafa'at because Rasulullah is acting as an intermediary between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First and foremost, those prophets who bring us the religion are intermediaries between us and Allah. So already in the world we can see shafa'at. Otherwise Allah would have sent an angel to all of us. But we don't qualify, we're not good enough, we're not pure enough. So He sends only to those who are pure and qualified to receive the angels. This system of the world is again mirrored in the hereafter. His system is one. Whatever you see here, you'll see equivalent in the hereafter. So in the hereafter then He uses the same system. And He says, you want my grace? I will channel it to you, no problem, don't worry, it's from me. No one is doing this independently, but I will channel it through my beloved ones. The Holy Prophet, Ahlul Bayt, alayhimus salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Someone may ask, but then what is the point? Why have? Surely Allah could just go and directly grace us with His forgiveness. Now, this is where it gets interesting. One argument and then one hadith. The argument is this. For Allah to channel His grace through the Imams, through the Holy Prophet, it's not showing that they are more merciful than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He does that in order to honor the Ahlul Bayt. He does that to honor the Ahlul Bayt. So that people can understand that, yes, wow, these people whom I believed in, who I was attached to, who I loved, who I did their ziyarat, I prayed salawat for them, I went for their ziyarat, I went to their harams, I did their ziyarat, I prayed ziyarat warisa every Thursday, I prayed ziyarat Aminullah once in a while, I prayed ziyarat Jamia once in a while. Yes, look, really, they were special people, and they are special people. Allah honors them with this position of shafa'at. He singles them out. He wants to show the world that, look, this is what you can become. This is what you could have become, something like this. I am honoring my servants. I'm honoring them. I'm giving them respect. I'm showing the world that, look, these people that you were attached to, it didn't just finish in the world. It carried on even after the world. Even in the hereafter, they're coming in handy for you. Number 2 hadith from Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He says, Inna Allaha ja'ala qulub al-a'immati mawridan li-iradatihi. One of the most beautiful ahadith. Imam Kazim says that Allah has made the hearts of the Imams the place of His will. Allah has made the hearts of the Imams, qulub al-a'imma, mawridan, the place li'iradatihi, for His will. فَإِذَا شَاءَ شَيْئًا شَاءُوهُ. When He wants something, they also want it instinctively. The moment Allah wants something, sometimes we think of Allah in our own frames of reference. We think, okay, Allah wants something. First of all, He calls Jibreel. Jibreel goes, it takes some time, 5 minutes, Jibreel goes to Allah. Allah tells Jibreel, here. Jibreel takes that and then he goes and it takes a couple of hours for him to come to Rasulullah. And he gives it to Rasulullah. It's not like that. The moment Allah wishes something, A'imma alayhimus salam wish it. Their connection is so tight, so close, so special. The moment Allah wills something, the A'imma alayhimus salam will it. The moment He wants something, they want it. The moment He decides something, they are in tune with it. This is why we have in the Quran 81:29. Is it on the screen? 81:29, very important verse. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. You do not want anything except that Allah wants it. Their will and their want and their desire is one with Allah's. And there is no delay here. إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُ إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا أَن يَقُولَ لَهُ كُنْ فَيَكُونَ. The moment He wants something, He doesn't have to wait for anything. He says, be, and it is. Shafa'at. This is shafa'at. So in the hereafter, we will be in need of the shafa'at of A'imma alayhimus salam. We will be in need of the shafa'at of Bibi Fatima. Oh Allah, grant us the shafa'at of Bibi Fatima. And that will come if we are in line and matching them in some respects, in our actions, in our deeds, in our beliefs. The closer your attachment with the Imams, the quicker the shafa'at happens. The more further away you are, the slower it happens. The more attachment you have, the quicker and easier the shafa'at. The more further away you are, the more difficult and slow the shafa'at. So we will need to have a very close connection with the infallibles. The stronger, the better. And then some of us will be saved. Some of the people will have to go into hell and then receive shafa'at. Some of them will not even have to go to hell and receive shafa'at, and they will end up in heaven. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, indeed, my intercession is for those from my nation who have committed the major sins. However, for the righteous, there is no culpability. The righteous don't have anything to worry about. Now, the next stage, So this takes us to the end of Pul-e-Sirat. Okay? Now what happens? So I said before that the end of Pul-e-Sirat is heaven. However, there's one more thing to do. There is one more thing to do. At the end of Pul-e-Sirat, before entrance into heaven, there is one more station to go through. This last station removes, if there are any traces still of any lingering evil, ego, pride, conceit, whatever it may be, pain, suffering, whatever it may be. If there's anything left, you need to go through one more thing. You need to drink from the pool of Kawthar. And that will be the fountain of the prophets. Each ummah will have one fountain, represented by their prophet. And that prophet will give them to drink. And when they drink, any small traces of lingering issues will go away, and all of that sadness and torment will be replaced by goodness and happiness. And in our case, in our prophet's case, that pool has a name. It is called Kawthar. And the one to give the drink from the pool of Kawthar is Amirul Mu'mineen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Amirul Mu'mineen will be standing there, giving everyone a drink of Kawthar, welcoming everyone, greeting everyone. There is a story. May I tell this story? It wasn't in my mind, but now it's just come in my mind. If you agree, I'll tell you this story. Very special story. Allama Amini. Who knows Allama Amini? We should all know Allama Amini. We are indebted to Allama Amini. Allama Amini is the famous author of the book Al-Ghadir. Allama Amini, what he did in his life, he gathered in a multi-volume book, multiple volumes, the event of Al-Ghadir, Ghadir Khum, Man Kuntu Mawla, that event, from all non-Shia sources, whether it's commentary on the Quran, whether it's hadith, whether it's another writing, whether it's poetry, he gathered it in Al-Ghadir. Allama Amini, he had a disability. His one leg was disabled, okay? And he could not walk properly, and he had this for most of his life. One day in Najaf, Allama Amini is there. His plan was, as usual, to go to the haram, recite the ziyarat, and go home. That was his plan. But whilst he's reciting his ziyarat, this guy comes into the haram, okay? This guy was like covered in like dirt. He had this bandage on his foot. He came in really rough, with rough language. You know, ulama, when they speak very, very nicely, very politely with the imams. This person was very rough, like you could tell he's not from a so-called educated background. He comes in and he begins to speak to Amirul Mu'mineen. He says, "Oh Ali," who speaks like this? How humble are we when we go to the grave of Amirul Mu'mineen? He says, "Oh Ali, if you don't cure my leg by Fajr time, I will stop believing in you." Allama is thinking, what's going on here? What kind of thing is this? What kind of etiquette is this? No adab, no etiquette, no adab, no akhlaq. What is this? Allama says, okay, let me see what's happening. Let me see what happens at the end of the day. So he continues, he stays in the haram and he's watching this guy. This guy sits around, pag lamba, you know, feet stretched out, not caring about anything, looking here and there, not doing wuzu, no namaz, no Quran, no dua, no ziyarat, nothing, just looking around, chilling out. It comes to Fajr time. The guy looks at his foot and he's cured. He says, "Oh Ali, thank you." And he walks out, not even praying namaz Fajr. Allama says, what is this? I have devoted my life to Amirul Mu'mineen. I am a mujtahid. I have been carrying around this handicapped leg for so many years. I have been praying for my shifa. I'm not getting shifa. This guy comes in from nowhere with this kind of attitude and gets shifa and goes away. So he has this ill feeling, this kind of negative feeling, and then he goes home. He goes home and he goes to sleep. That night in his dream, he sees Amirul Mu'mineen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. That night in his dream, he sees Amirul Mu'mineen. Amirul Mu'mineen says, "Allama Amini, you have something to say to us?" Allama says, no, Mawla, no. What? Nothing. Amir al-Mu'minin says, no, come on, you had some feeling in your heart. Tell me, what is this feeling? Allama is shy. He says, no, Mawla, nothing really. Amir al-Mu'minin says, let me tell you. Amini, listen to me. Number one, the fact that you have written this book of Al-Ghadir, it is my haq that you write such a book of Al-Ghadir. I am your Imam. It's my haq that you write this Al-Ghadir. You should write this Al-Ghadir. Number two, you are a mujtahid. You don't know in the hereafter what sawab and reward is waiting for you for your hard efforts in becoming a mujtahid. Number three, you have a handicapped leg. Let me tell you, do you know how many other bounties Allah has blessed you with because of this handicapped leg? That guy that had come, believe me, Amini, listen to me. He had come, if I had not cured him, he really would have stopped believing in me. He really would have stopped believing. I had to cure him. Otherwise, he really would have left the religion. But you, Amini, you, even if you say to me, Amirul Mu'minin, cure me, otherwise I will stop believing in you, still I won't cure you. Because you'll go away in the morning, by evening you'll come back saying sorry to me. We know you. You're from us. You are ours. This is Allama Amini. Now the point I wanted to make. When Allama Amini passed away, his son saw him in the dream. His son says that I saw my father going towards heaven. And he was in the line of all of the ulama. All of the ulama were proceeding towards heaven. And when they reached the pool of Kawthar, Amirul Mu'mineen was giving everyone a cup of Kawthar to drink. And they were going into heaven. When my father reached, Amirul Mu'mineen put down the cup, put his own sleeves up, took the water in his hands and said, Amini, drink from my hands. दुनिया में तुमने हमारा चेहरा रोशन किया, आखिरत में हम तुम्हारा चेहरा रोशन करेंगे. You made my face bright in the world, I will make your face bright in the hereafter. Amirul Mu'mineen at the pool of Kawthar. This is what will happen, inshallah. So this last stage of the pool of Kawthar will be the final stage of entry into paradise, inshallah. Now, there are a number of doors. How many doors of hell do we have? Does anyone know? 7. How many doors of heaven? 8. In other words, there's more chance and more opportunity to get into heaven than hell. What are the doors of heaven? Let us have a quick discussion on that with Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Janab Bilal, the great companion of Rasulullah, Bilal Habashi, he has a hadith regarding the doors of heaven. I will just paraphrase it because time is short. Someone asked him, tell me a hadith of Rasulullah. He says, I heard my beloved Rasulullah say the following, that heaven has several doors. There is the door of mercy. So this is the way that people qualify for heaven. Yeah? This is the way people get to heaven. There are a few doors. One is the door of mercy, Babur Rahmah. One is the door of sabr, the Babu Sabr, door of perseverance. One is the door of gratitude, Babu Shukr. One is the door of trial, Babul Bala. So this man asked, no, hang on a second. What do you mean Babu Sabr and Babul Bala? Are they not the same thing? So he clarified. He says, no. Babul Bala is the door of calamity, sickness, disease, leprosy, etc. And then he says something very sad. He said, those who are able to keep their dignity and keep their iman and keep strong on the faith of Allah after experiencing all those balas are very few. Very few people. So there will be all of these different doors. We will be entered through the door that is most like our character. How did we qualify for heaven? How did we get there? When we are entered into heaven, then there are, of course, everlasting paradise, and there's everlasting bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let me mention a few, and then we will finish with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The sixth Imam quotes the Holy Prophet, in which he says, an announcement will be made, calling each person by name, so-and-so, son of so-and-so. It is your turn to enter. Everyone will enter like this. They will be admitted into a garden with trees casting shade, flowing water, orchards full of fruit. There will be rivers. In some rivers he will bathe. In some rivers he will drink. He will be welcomed by the angels. The angels will say, now you have been purified. Enter with everyone else. There will be a wide boulevard with trees whose trunks shall be of pearls and whose branches shall be of jewels. They will present it with mounts, robes, foods. Everything will be made of light. He will proceed into the land of light. The angels will say to one another, stand aside. The guests of Ar-Rahman have arrived. Everyone will be told to stand aside. Angels will honor them. They will be the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They'll be shown their estate, palaces, maids, servants, spouses, multiple palaces. He will continue this tour until he has seen 1,000 palaces. The sound of heaven will be the praise and glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This sound of heaven will make everyone spellbound in ecstasy. There will be rivers of milk, honey, sweet water. Birds will bring food. Trees will lower themselves and present them with fruit. They will enjoy the closeness of Allah and His pleasure. They will then become more and more radiant and nurani. More things will be brought. More enjoyment will be brought. Then he will go on this journey. When he comes back to one of his palaces, the hurs or the huris or whatever you want to call it who are there, they will look and they will say, you look different. You look different. Your face has taken on a new nur. He will say, do not be amazed, for I have looked at the face of my Lord and my face has become illuminated with His light. The closeness of Allah, the nur of Allah. And then he will look at this huri, this maid, whatever you want to call it. He will look at her and he will say, now your face has become illuminated. She says, you looked at the face of Allah. I looked at your face. From your face I have gained more nur. Everyone will be on a continuous progress and journey more and more into the closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The prophets will present themselves. Hazrat Adam, Nabi Ibrahim, Nabi Musa, Nabi Isa. They will all present themselves. Then, after all of those prophets have presented themselves, another person will enter the gathering. This person will be 70 times more radiant, 70 times more fragrant, 70 times more handsome, 70 times more glowing. They will ask, who is this now? The angels will reply, this is the one who was chosen for the final revelation and entrusted with God's message. He is the greater son of Adam. This is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. After that, another man will come, bathed in dazzling light. Again, people will ask, now who is this? The angels will reply, this is the brother of the messenger of Allah. This is Ali ibn Abi Talib. Allahumma salli alayhi. And there are so many of these descriptions, really, it makes you feel so happy when you read this. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq, to make us one of the people of paradise, to accept our deeds, to give us shafaat of Ahlul Bayt, to admit us into these wonderful, wonderful paradises that He has created for us. Oh Allah, bless our marhumeen, keep us strong and united, allow us to achieve our ambitions and goals. Oh Allah, hasten the appearance of our 12th Imam. If Imam Zaman is happy with us, oh Allah, then there's nothing more that we can ask for in this holy month of Ramadan. Rabbana taqabbal minna, innaka anta sami'ul alim. From tomorrow, inshallah, mu'mineen, we start a new topic, which will hopefully last 3 days, three lectures, which will be how to improve our namaz, inshallah. Let's have, for the quick reappearance of our 12th Imam, 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا أختك زينب. السلام على الحسين والعلي بن الحسين والأولاد الحسين والأصحاب الحسين جميعا شهداء كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليك إمام صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسحر الله تعالى مخرجك وزهورك وجعلنا من أنصارك ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم